It's 5:30 PM on April 8th, 2025. We are here in the council chambers of City Hall for the regularly scheduled Board of Public Works meeting. We also have a Zoom link on the agenda that you can follow for anyone who needs to attend online. So now I'll turn it over to Board President Kyla Cox-Decker to start the meeting.
Thank you. I call to order this regular meeting of the Board of Public Works this Tuesday, April 8th of 2025. First up, we have messages from board members. Do we have any messages from the board? Seeing none. Next is petitions and remonstrances. If we have anyone who would like to make a public comment on something that is not on our agenda this evening, now is the opportunity to do so. You may approach the microphone and state your name.
Hello, I'm Greg Alexander. I just wanted to draw your attention to the sidewalk on the north side of 3rd Street between College and the Beeline, I guess. It's the old, I guess, Bunger Robertson property that it's slated for a convention center something, hotel something. The sidewalk is elevated a lot over the road, and its railing has been failing progressively for a decade. And maybe 2 or 3 years ago, somebody closed it with just like caution tape because you could not lean on that railing. And then the caution tape disappeared, and then and I think maybe a week or two ago, a section of it blew over, I assume, but maybe could have been vandalism, I don't know. Or somebody tried to hold on to it for once. And now there's a more substantial barricade at the two ends of it saying sidewalk closed. And it's my understanding such a closure should come before this board because it'll surely take more than 2 weeks. And there's an argument, is it the city's job because it's such an awkward right of way there, or is it the owner's job? Well, the landowner is the city. And so my concern is that it's getting swept under the rug potentially for years as they wait to find out what they're going to do with that hotel. And on the one hand, nobody wants to spend money when you know you're going to build a hotel there. But on the other hand, this sidewalk is pretty important, and it's a very stressful pedestrian environment. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Do we have any other public comments about items not on our agenda? If you're on Zoom, you can use the raised hand function or the chat function to let us know you would like to make a comment.
There is nothing on Zoom.
All right, seeing none. Next, we have Title VI abatements, request for abatement at 1919 South Walnut.
Hello, board members. My name is Rob Council. I'm compliance officer with the Hand Department, and I'm coming to you today to ask for a continuous abatement on the property at 1919 South Walnut Street. It's currently home to McDonald's on the south side.
Do we have questions from the board on this item?
Would we be able to get an updated, property card for, there's a property card in here for 1903 South Walnut, but it's not for 1919?
Joe Stong of our department was supposed to send that to you after we discussed that yesterday.
Okay. I wonder if it was sent directly to Miranda and not copied to April. April, you didn't get anything today?
No. Let me see. Unless you put it in the folder and I didn't know about it.
If not, that's something I can do either tonight or first thing tomorrow morning, if that would please you guys.
I think we just make it part of the record, the conversation itself, part of the record that page 16 is not the property in question that's being abated.
That's correct. I initially had that Bland Properties, which is 1903 through 1917 listed. They had made significant efforts to clean up that property, so I asked to have that property pulled. Today, it's just the 1919 South Walnut Street.
Okay. Yeah, that would be helpful. I'm fine with that. We just had, during the work session yesterday, we were talking about 1903, 1917, and 1919, and just want to make sure that the record is clear about what property.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
And you mentioned yesterday that you had speculation that some of the problems here were was related to dumpsters and unsecured dumpsters. As part of your continuous abatement, when these things continue, if this continues to come up, will you continue to have those conversations with the dumpster owner about potentially locking it?
I've had some pretty positive conversations with Mr. Bland as far as locking that dumpster goes. He does house a lot of businesses on that property where you'd have to cut keys for each individual business, but I think that's coming down the road here very shortly.
Fantastic, thank you.
Hopefully, it'll help prevent this from being an ongoing situation.
And just for clarity's sake, for the public, the continuous abatement is something that the city can go to if there continues to be trash, garbage strewn about the property, but the city will only clean when that happens during the continuous abatement. So if one cleanup is all it takes, and everything from that one cleanup on is in compliance, the city won't have to continue to render any kind of services.
That is very correct, Ms. Deckard.
All right. Any public comments on this item?
I have nothing on Zoom.
All right. Is there a motion on this item?
I move that we approve the request for abatement at 1919 South Walnut.
Second?
All right, I will call the roll. Crone?
Aye.
Roach?
Aye.
Cox Deckard, aye. Motion passes.
Thank you, board members.
Thanks. Next up, under the consent agenda, we have Resolution 2025-021, ITS surplus donation to Binary Heart. Resolution 2025-022, ITS surplus donation to Blue Bee Ecological Endeavors, Inc. Resolution 2025-023, Renew Mobile Vendor Rastapops Pushcart. Resolution 2025-024, New Mobile Solicitor Bailey's Additive Manufacturing. Resolution 2025-027, Renew Mobile Vendor Rita's Ice. Noise permit for celebration of 1% for the Arts Trades District Sculpture Installation. Resolution 2025-025, Bloomington Speedway and Nick's English Hut. Resolution 2025-026, Indy 500 Fan Fest. Approve contract with Electric Plus for BFD number 1 card reader relocation, and approval of payroll. Do we have any items that need to be removed from the consent agenda this evening? Do we have any public comments on anything within the consent agenda this evening?
There's nothing on Zoom.
All right, seeing none, is there a motion on the consent agenda?
I move that we approve the consent agenda for tonight's meeting of April 8th, 2025.
Second?
All right, I will call the roll. Crone?
Aye.
Roach?
Aye.
Cox Deckard, aye. Motion passes. Next is new business. First under new business is approve lane closure request for the Peterson Company on Pete Ellis Drive.
Hello, everyone. Kyle Ball from engineering. So the Peterson Company has been working on crew car wash at that location for some months now. They're entering the final stages of the project and are ready to start with some of the paint markings along that corridor. Specifically, what they're looking for here is the bike lane markings on the east side of Pete Ellis. They're planning for this work to take about a day. They will be doing the crosswalk as well, but that will be within NDOT territory. So the lane closure will be leading into that. They're getting their permits through NDOT for that end of things, but still expected the same time frame there. They're looking to execute this in the next week or so, and we have asked them to do this during non-peak traffic volume hours. So there is a noise variance request attached with this as well. Happy to take any questions there might be.
Thank you. Questions from the board?
The noise permit that's in your packet, does it have information in it?
This one does, but yours might, it's in red, so I don't know if maybe there are some
It's the same one that we saw.
visibility, yeah. I know on the noise permit, and probably because of the city, in an effort to be flexible with the whole timing of this work. It currently says to be determined for the start and end time. Do you have a general estimate of when they'll be working on it?
We can certainly specify what that'll be. Generally speaking, I would say 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. or so. Yeah.
And then for the right-of-way permit, what is the information that was submitted for the right-of-way permit?
So we didn't have a paper permit applied for, and I'm so sorry I misheard you in the work session yesterday. So we didn't have an actual paper copy that was submitted for this. So the original submission was just for lane closure for the single day. They were still trying to work on the dates at that time, so all that we've been gathering as the weeks went on.
Okay, so they plan on having a lane closure on P. Ellis during one of the days of that date span, sometime between April 9th and April 16th. That would also be happening during those nighttime work hours, not during daytime work hours. And they will use flagging as the traffic control device for that closure. Do they have any sidewalk? Like, does it affect the sidewalk at all, or is it just?
Not our sidewalk. I think they still have some outstanding items for the NDOT side of things there, but that sidewalk's been constructed. We've been working with them quite a bit on keeping that fencing off of that sidewalk. Fortunately, the sidewalk that was replaced is much wider than the original sidewalk there. So yeah, nothing to my knowledge.
Any other questions from the board?
Is it worth getting a right-of-way permit to be included with the packet, just so it's on file, that paper permit that you said was not a part of this?
Yeah, we've moved to an online system, so it's fairly rare that we get an actual paper permit submitted anymore. But if the board pleases, yeah, I'm happy to do that.
I don't think we necessarily need a paper permit, but at least some notation that you have received the permit in an online version and staff has approved or whatever, just so we know that the permit has been included as part of the packet. Not the packet, but the application for you.
And we're speaking about the noise permit then?
No.
Okay, sorry.
No, because the noise permit is here, but I
Right.
heard you
And
say
that
that
is
there's a
attached to
right-of-way
that,
permit as well.
Yeah, I can certainly do that.
Yep, even just as part of the staff report, letting us know that a right-of-way permit has been received.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Well, and I think this is one, because it is a single day, this falls into sort of a gray area as well, because the Board of Public Works has to approve certain right-of-way permits, but not necessarily all. Staff can approve some. So there's a little bit of a, I mean, with this one being a single day, I'm suspecting that some of that falls into staff approval. But for board-approved right-of-way permits, I am assuming even with electronic versions, there is some sort of notation that happens for the board to sign off on it. In this case, because it's a single day, I don't think that's necessarily a
I
factor.
would imagine not. Yeah, the main
So-
reason I wanted to bring it is because of the noise ordinance.
Yeah.
But,
Great clarification.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, I mean, a very fair question, yeah.
Any public comments on this item?
Nothing on Zoom.
All right, seeing none, is there a motion?
I move that we approve the lane closure request from the Peterson Company on Pete Ellis Drive.
Second.
All right, I will call the roll. Corone?
Aye.
Roach?
Aye.
Cox Steckard? Aye. Motion passes.
Thanks for your patience.
Thanks. Yeah, thank you. All right, next up is approved night work for water installation request from Blackwell Contractors for 361 and 371 West Country Club Drive.
Hi, it's Alex Gray from engineering. So Blackwell Contractors, this has changed many times at this rate. So originally, the permit was for December 2024. It was just water, and it ended up not happening due to weather and timing of all of the winter activities, so they ended up moving it. And now it has been added on to this time to have sanitary as well, which is on the opposite side. So they'll have work on both the north side of Country Club and the south. And because of that, and due to concerns about congestion and kind of backing up at the Rogers and Country Club intersection, we've asked them to do night work. And CBU and Blackwell are all able to do that, and they're willing. We used some traffic counts to kind of see what would be the best times for them to be able to work, and it seems to be that 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. is the time period that would be best for them. And there is a slight change to the date range. It's originally it was going to be for April 9th to April 19th. They actually want to push it back to about May 1st and like pretty much the first 2 weeks of May, if possible.
So not starting as early as April 9th.
No,
Okay.
it wouldn't start until about May 1st.
And so May 1st would be the starting date, and what would be the ending date?
Let's see. I think May 11th, because that should be about 10 days, which is what they had in the original.
So do we anticipate, so they're doing the work, it's a multi-day project?
Yes.
And during the day, the lanes will be open with like plates? Okay.
That is correct.
And then the maintenance of traffic is flagging, is that right?
That's correct, yeah. And they will only do one lane at a time. They will not close both. So even though it is at night, they're still going to keep one lane open.
So just following up on James's question, if the lanes will be reopened with plates, will the sidewalks also be reopened during the days?
Yes.
They will.
Yeah, because they shouldn't be working in them as far as I'm aware. It's more of just kind of the proximity to the sidewalk, especially on the water side. I don't think the sanitary is a big of a problem on that side. I believe it's more in the grass part, but the water happened to be kind of right near that curb line, and so it was more just they're going to have to get into it, and could be kind of a problem. They do have a new sidewalk in that area too, as part of the two developments, so it's actually further back, and I think it's a 10-foot. I'm not quite certain, but it's a larger span sidewalk as well.
Were they able to reach out to the adjacent property owners to let them know that this work?
They were getting ready to, they were sending notices and everything, and they actually have a property that I believe they're like doing like a lease of, so they had contacted them too, so.
Just a note for them, it's not exactly in the epicenter, but May 10th is IU graduation, IU commencement, both May 9th and May 10th. I think there'll be commencement activities. So those may be particularly heavy traffic days in all parts of the community. So I'm sure that they're hoping to be done as quickly as possible, and that maybe they won't even be entering into that weekend. But it's something to consider, just those hours. If they were, did you say they were thinking about starting? I know on the noise permit it has 8 p.m. Were they going to start a little earlier than that?
I don't believe so, because
okay.
we had told them based on our traffic counts that it doesn't seem, based on like the Roger Street intersection, that it's just going to back up too much, and we didn't want to have the queue go into the intersection and cause more congestion. So we said, nope, 8 p.m. is when you can start.
Okay. Yeah, and like I said, this isn't exactly in the most concerning of intersections related to that activity, but there probably will be a lot of move-out activity and other just general traffic happening, that if they can, be aware of that congested weekend, that will be helpful.
I do know that it may not actually take the full 10 days. They just have some contingency for weather and if they hit a bunch of rock and that kind of thing. So they may have the potential to be done before then. I think Lana is on.
Lana's on.
Or Lana, yeah.
Yeah.
So she would be able to speak to that too.
Are there any other questions on this item? All right, any public comments on this item?
No comment on Zoom.
All right, seeing none, is there a motion?
I move that we approve night work for water installation request from Blackwell Contractors for 361 and 371 West Country Club Drive.
Second.
All right, I will call the roll. Corone?
Aye.
Roach?
Aye.
Cox-Deckard, aye. Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thanks. Next is approved contract with Wise Building Solutions.
That is me, I guess. So this is a service agreement with Wise Building Solutions, who will provide construction of 15 accessible curb ramps, curbs, and sidewalk sections as needed on North Kinzer Pike, from West Vaughn Cliff Way to West Acuff Road, in the amount not to exceed $38,000.
Thank you. Questions on this item? Any public comments on this item?
Nothing on Zoom.
All right, seeing none, is there a motion?
I move that we approve the contract with Wise Building Solutions.
Second.
All right, I will call the roll. Corone?
Aye.
Roach?
Aye.
Cox-Deckard, aye. Motion passes. Next is approved contract with Lentz Paving LLC for parking lot renovations at City Hall.
The parking lot of City Hall is in need of renovations. This project will include an asphalt overlay of the entire parking lot to the south of City Hall, curb repairs at various locations, and the replacement of the ADA ramps on the south end of the building.
Thank you. Questions on this item? Any public comments on this item?
No comment on Zoom.
Seeing none, is there a motion?
I move that we approve the contract with Lentz Paving LLC for parking lot renovations at City Hall.
Second.
All right, I will call the roll. Corone?
Aye.
Roach?
Aye.
Cox-Deckard, aye. Motion passes. Next up is staff reports and other business.
So, staff report from Adam Wason, and it's a update on the fiber project. The main details to know right now is that they are working very closely with Meridian and Hoosier Fiber Network on remediation plans, and just as importantly, on who they will contract with on the rest of the build-out. They plan to have a much tighter control of smaller and fewer active permits when the project starts back up, and we're going to be really working to set standards for the new working relationship with the construction team.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have additional staff report? Yeah. Any questions on that? I think we're good. All right, thanks. All right, next up is approval of claims. Are there any questions from the board on claims? All right. Any public comments on claims?
There is nothing on Zoom.
All right, seeing none, is there a motion?
I move that we approve claims this evening in the amount of $5,317,042.42.
Second.
All right, I will call the roll. Corone?
Aye.
Roach?
Aye.
Cox-Deckard, aye. Motion passes. And seeing we have nothing else on the agenda, I will call for adjournment.